Hi everyone, this is Emma Noel, and this is part 2 of the psychological warfare series I'll be doing, and this one is on hypnosis. In part 1, I talked a little about gang stalking and one of their main tactics in NLP or neuro-linguistic programming, and I also read part of the Senator Frank Church study from an actual government website. And once going back to that website, actually, they took the link down so that nobody could see that anymore. It is posted on a different website, but the link in the link description didn't work because they had taken it off the website. I guess they were getting too many visitors. So that's how you know this is right on the right track. We're doing the right thing by studying their tactics of psychological warfare, and as we know with Jade Helm, they are working on mastering the human domain. What better way to do that than through psychological warfare? So in this video, I'm going to introduce exactly what hypnosis is and talk about how we can combat the hypnotic suggestions that are put in all around us, also even in conversational hypnosis. How to combat that, how to recognize if someone is trying to hypnotize you right in front of your face during a conversation. So that's what we're going to go into in this, and then further on how we can, in the long run, keep our mind well and keep going and not fall prey to some of their tactics. Hypnosis is the induction of a state of consciousness in which a person apparently loses the power of voluntary action and is highly responsive to suggestion or direction. Its use in therapy, typically to recover repressed memories or allow modification of behavior by suggestion, has been revived, but is still controversial. The reason why it's so controversial is because this can be used for such good. It can be used for therapy and helping an individual work through some of the past trauma or past events that they may have repressed. But at the same time, it can be used as a form of mind control if used in the wrong way. So that's why it's so controversial. That's why this is so iffy. And I suggest that if you are going to go through hypnotherapy, that you would at least take some kind of recorder or take your phone and just at least record the therapy session to where you can go back and re-listen to it to make sure the therapist is not putting some kind of sneaky kind of command into your brain without you even knowing it. They use hypnosis on the mass population on a daily basis through the TV. They get them in a trance-like state, and then they implement the commands or thoughts that they want them to think. And on a smaller scale, this is what a hypnotist would do. It's about control. So, and as I was looking through this, I went to the web and just kind of searched it, and one of the websites is how to persuade someone to do whatever you want them to do. That's how they're advertising this to the hypnotist. They're advertising you can control whoever you want to if you just learn hypnosis. There's a lot of very influential people who know this, who know how to do it, and they use it on a daily basis through body language and in conversational hypnosis. So how exactly does it work? Here is a picture of a symbol of our unconscious mind, subconscious mind, and conscious mind. Our conscious mind is only 10% of our entire brain. The rest of it is submerged or in the shadow. It's what you don't think about on a daily basis. It is who you are. It is why you do the things you do. It's all of your experiences combined, all of the connections that your brain makes in an instant without you even thinking through it. It's the wiring from your very birth. That's your subconscious mind. So the subconscious is very, very in tune with symbolism and colors, triggers. If there's one thing that sets it off, it'll go through the line of commands all the way back to when you were a child. Childhood is where most of this is hidden. If you talk to hypnotists, they will say that every single memory, everything you've ever been through, is in your subconscious mind. It's buried there. Every single memory. So in hypnosis, what they're doing is bypassing your conscious mind, bypassing your logical mind to where you are thinking on a daily basis, the one when you're awake, you're ready, you're aware. They're bypassing that, putting that part of your mind to sleep, and directly hitting your subconscious mind. The part that you don't even have access to on a daily basis, because a lot of it is hidden, even from us, even from ourselves, just because we can't remember all of this stuff on a daily basis. So that's what hypnotists are doing. They're going straight to the subconscious and implanting things in there without you even noticing it most of the time. And what I want to talk about the most in this video is conversational hypnosis. Because that's when someone will just walk up to you on the street and try to hypnotize you with their hands, through their motions, the way they're talking, and just try and get completely in sync with you so they can tap in to your subconscious and get you to do what they want you to do. This is complete manipulation and mind control on their part, and they have no right to do that. So we're going to find out exactly how to combat that. Easy subjects for hypnotists: highly suggestible people, people who lack a sense of self or confidence, open-minded people, people who are unaware of their surroundings, and people who have a desire to please. This is mostly women. Women are born with this innate desire to please just because that's how it is. Psychology has proved that before. The more you've been hypnotized, the easier it is to be hypnotized again. What the hypnotist will do is implant a command into the subconscious to where they only have to say one word or snap their fingers a couple times, and the person drops right back into hypnosis automatically. And so hypnotists will prefer people like this, people who they can invade the boundaries, highly suggestible, open-minded people that they can kind of bend their mind toward what they want them to do, not what that person particularly chooses to do. It's all about control. One of my close friends in high school, her father was a hypnotist, and that's how I know a lot of this stuff. I watched him hypnotize quite a few people. We talked about it, he told me all about it. So that's pretty much how I know about hypnotists and how they do this, but also because I studied psychology in college. People who are on a mind-altering substance. This could be anything, really. This is why hypnotists are at bars at nighttime. People are already in a trance-like state. They're dancing, they have music, the lights are kind of hypnotic. Usually they have music videos going in the background. Those are hypnotic. And it's very easy for the hypnotist to quickly tap into the subconscious when someone's already in a trance-like state. So that's where you'll see a lot of these stage shows at bars, because these people are already tranced out, they're ready to be hypnotized. Okay, moving on. The types of frequencies, brain waves, and their functions. In your unconscious mind or subconscious mind, there are two frequencies, delta and theta. The delta frequency is your instinct. It's your survival. It's your deep sleep, brainwave, and if you're in a coma. The theta brainwave is your emotion. It drives your feelings. It's when you're in a trance-like state, and also your dreams. Your conscious mind has alpha, beta, and gamma. Alpha is your consciousness, your awareness of your body, the integration of your feelings. Beta is your thoughts, your perception, concentration, and mental activity. And gamma is your will. If you have extreme focus, energy, and ecstasy. During hypnosis, you will either be in theta or delta. This also kind of reminded me of some of these energy weapons that we've seen that the government has funded, where they can specifically send a certain frequency towards someone, and that frequency picks up in their mind and changes their thoughts, changes their state of consciousness. So I just thought I would add that. That's kind of interesting too. How to spot a hypnotist. These are the people that are walking around us, the conversational hypnotists, the people that have been through these classes, these trainings on how to get what they want, how to be persuasive. Influential people like lawyers, people who need to persuade. Number 1, watch for hypnotic voice patterns and hand movements. These people will usually do dominant hand movements to where they are making the pyramid with their hands, or they're just with their fist kind of making those movements. Anything to get control of the conversation using their body language. Pay attention to who is leading the conversation. Typically, the hypnotist will want the attention off of them. They'll want you to be talking about yourself and get so caught up in talking about yourself or someone else or something else that you're not paying attention to what they're doing. So pay attention to who's leading the conversation. Are you in control of the conversation, or is the other person? Hypnotists need to make you feel good to get the right type of control. Once they get your brain moving in a positive way, you start associating that person in a positive way in your brain. You make positive connections with that person, and any kind of boundaries or barriers start to drop once you start feeling good and happy. Look at the setting of the conversation. Like I said earlier, it would be easy for a hypnotist or someone trained in this type of skill to do this in a bar, especially because it's already dim lighting, there's already music and music videos in the background, a lot of the lights are hypnotic, places like that, or even just a restaurant with dimmer lights, somewhere that might be relaxing to you. Or if there's some kind of white noise in the background, that's also a hypnotic atmosphere. How influential is that person? Are you speaking to a lawyer, a high-up businessman, or is it just someone that you've met at a bus stop? I mean, you have to think about how influential they are. How skilled are they at this, at getting what they want? This will be more likely with people like lawyers or the businessmen, because this is how they have climbed up. Also, I'm sure that Freemasons are put through this type of classes on how to better get what they want. That's what they advertise with Freemasonry. If you join us, we're going to teach you how to do this and that, and train you to be more like a, that's how they advertise some of these secret societies. Are you in a situation where hypnosis would benefit the other person? For instance, are you on a date? Are you planning on buying something from that person? Salesmen are good at this. Are you working for that person? Usually, these hypnotists aren't just going to do this for no reason. They want control for a reason. They want to influence you to date them, to buy something for them, to do what they want you to do at work. This type of thing. You're not going to get hypnotized just for the fun of it usually. So pay attention to the motives behind what they might be wanting you to do. So one more time, the hypnotic voice pattern, the hand movements, dominant hand movements, the way the person is dressed, even look at that. How influential, how powerful do they want to come off by their dress? Pay attention to who's leading the conversation. Hypnotists need to make you feel good. Are they complimenting you nonstop? Are they making you laugh nonstop? Look at the setting of the conversation. Look at the type of person that person is. Are they sinking into you? Are they mirroring your body language? Are they trying to tap into who you are and you feel completely in sync with them? Watch for that too. And one more time, look for a motive. So finally, how to make them squirm. If someone is trying to hypnotize you, turn the conversation in the opposite direction. If they are clearly going one way, for instance, if they're trying to sell you something and they're pushing you in one direction to only talk about one thing, flip the conversation and start talking about the opposite thing. See how they react. If it is someone who knows you well, do something that you normally wouldn't. Whether that be body language or just saying something you wouldn't, acting in a different way than you normally would. Just do something different. Do something out of the blue that they might not expect you to do. Be more assertive. If someone is trying to take control of the conversation and you feel as if they are trying to put their will in front of yours and get you to do something that they want you to do, be more assertive. Instantly change the tempo and level of the conversation. Hypnotists will talk in one tone, and they may fluctuate that tone up and down, somewhat robotically. That's the way they speak usually. So if you can interject something, whether it be just distracting, oh my gosh, look at that. Oh, what is that? Something like, just change the tempo so that they can't continue in the same type of hypnotic speech. Allow them to think you are being hypnotized and listen to what they are trying to sneak into your subconscious. This is kind of a tricky thing to do because they're very tricky in their ways. You have to be very aware if you're going to try this one. And you have to listen very closely to what they're saying at the same time as paying attention to their motions, because they might be saying one thing like, well, I don't know if we should go to this restaurant or that restaurant. But while they're saying it, they're using the body language to make you think they know and you have to let them make the decision. Or they're trying to manipulate you to make you think that you made the decision when really they told you, well, I don't know if we should go to Olive Garden or not. While making a dominant hand movement, they're suggesting to you, let's go to Olive Garden. We're going to Olive Garden. That's very, very small example. I mean, this is just kind of, usually it'd be on something more important. But this is the way they speak. They learn this through a lot of classes. And this is how they learn to influence people. They're going to say certain things while they do certain things. If it is someone who knows you well, Watch for them to use objects or symbols or words that may trigger a memory from your past. This is probably one of the worst things, especially if it's an abusive person. What they might do is, let's say you shared with them that you were abused and someone used a certain object on you to abuse you. And then they have that object in their hand, or they say that object out loud in the middle of a sentence where it doesn't fit. That's a way of invoking fear in someone, a way of gaining their control, and that is something they use. So that's kind of an extreme example, but something else, if they wanted to make you feel happy and positive, they'll bring a symbol up or emotion or something to trigger a memory of something really positive, like, oh, do you remember the time that we got that at the amusement park? Especially if it's in the middle of a really deep conversation, to make you feel positive, and then you start getting happier because you're thinking of happier times. You'll be more likely to do what they tell you to do. So that's another one of their tactics. So just start trying different things. If you feel like you're around a person like this, just try different things. See what they do, see how they react. If they react normally, like nothing changes, then maybe they're not trying to hypnotize you. Maybe this is just the way they are. Or if they change or ask you, why are you doing that? Oh, you're doing something different. Are you okay? That's how you know they're paying very close attention to your reactions, and they're typically wanting some kind of control or wanting to influence you in some way. In the long run, things you can do. The more of your subconscious or unconscious that you become aware of, the easier combating hypnosis will be. Get to the root of a trigger. If there is something that someone does that completely irks you, drives you insane, get to the root of it. What is it that started that instance? Like if a certain sound really bothers you, sit down, get a pen and paper, and just start writing and progress back through your mind to where that started. Who did that in the beginning to make you feel that way? Get to the root of the trigger. What was the first instance that you felt that way in your life that you can remember? And then you can figure out why it bothers you. Once you know why, you can begin retraining your mind and making new connections with that. Work on recovering any repressed memories. Bring things that you may have blocked off to the light. If you have repressed memories, then your subconscious is going to become heavier and heavier. It could be blocked off and put up walls if you've been through trauma. So the more you recover your memories and integrate the memories into your working conscious mind, the more self-aware you will be. Self-awareness and awareness of your surroundings is really how you will begin to notice these things. Once you start noticing these things, you can start going against them, training yourself to do things differently. So this is not easy stuff to do, because we're talking about the subconscious. This is very deeply rooted to your past, very deeply rooted to childhood usually. So if there's anything in childhood that has not been remembered and you regress back and remember that and bring it to light, then you're one step closer to completely understanding the way your mind works. The last thing you want is someone else understanding the way your mind works better than you do, because they'll end up taking advantage of that if they're a bad person. So here are some things that you can do. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comment section. If you're not subscribed to us, make sure you do. We put out videos every day on subjects such as this and breaking news, conspiracy news, all types of stuff. Thank you so much for watching. This is Emma Noel signing off.